Hey, good Sunday, everybody. Hope you're doing well, and I hope you've had a good weekend. Welcome to What's on My Crafting Table. If you hung out with me last week, you saw where I started doing some fall stuff, and we're going to continue doing some fall stuff this Sunday, and probably next Sunday too. I'm going to do probably some Christmas stuff as well, just working on a few fall things while we're uh, getting into that season. It won't be long. I already know of kids that are getting ready to go back to school, already know of some that have started school. Cannot believe that. I'm like, it's July. So, but we're going to be working on something very autumn or fallish this evening. So let me clear off my little screen here and we shall take a look at what's on the crafting table. This is called Love Grows Here. It's actually a tree, but if you can see, there's the trunk of it and some branches. Well, we're going to work on adding the leaves to this. So we're going to get started, and I'm working with a paper plate tonight. Normally I'm working with egg carton, but I'm going to do a paper plate tonight because we're going to be doing some mixing of colors. And so we're going to keep a paper plate handy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with some darker colors. And we're actually, hold that thought for a minute. I just remembered. I am going to do this as with a board look in the background. So I've already got the white down, but I need to add what will end up being that board look to the back. So what I am going to do, I forgot to grab one more brush here, and I'm missing my favorite brush. Oh no, that's never a good thing when you're missing your favorite brush. All right, so I've already got some lines drawn here. They're done very lightly in pencil, so I know you can't see them, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to just follow that line with the black. See if I can see the line. Okay, there we go. I had to get it just right in the light. So I'm just going to follow this line. I'm going to go in between the tree trunks here, or the tree branches. And I don't have that many lines on the board. I decided to keep this one pretty simple as far as the number of boards. If you've never seen me do the board look, we start with just a black line, and then I'm going to grab a baby wipe and we're going to smear that line. So this line does not have to be perfect because it's actually going to end up rubbed, kind of rubbed out a little bit. I'm going to hold on to that just for a second. My baby whites have been shanghaied. This is terrible. Okay, well, let's see. Aha. Sometimes it's a good thing that the Paint Party supplies don't have a permanent home at the moment, because it means they're right beside all of my painting stuff sitting here in my dining room. And it means that when I can't find what I'm supposed to have at arm's reach, I can usually turn right around and find it in the box behind me. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this around this way. And I'm just going to take this baby wipe and I'm just going to start working my way. You're going to see it smear a little bit. I am going to come across the tree trunk with this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some lines, but I'm pretty much going to wipe those off. So you get kind of a grain look, but you don't want it to be bolder than your main line. So you end up wiping a lot of that away. Now, I don't do this all the time, but sometimes I'll kind of scrub a little bit because I want it to look a little worn. Now, you don't want to take all the white away. So you'll see me play with the baby wipe more than once. See how I scrubbed off a little bit of the line right here toward the bottom? I like doing this board look. To me, it's one of the few things that you can do that, to me, there's no right or wrong way to do it. And yes, you'll need quite a few baby wipes for this. And depending upon how big the hanger is that you're doing, this one is not what I call door hanger size. This one is more something that you would display maybe in your entryway, or maybe put on a door, maybe to a patio or pantry, laundry room, maybe a door coming from the garage into laundry room. The reason why I like to scrub a little bit is because I like to make it look like it's worn. And then I don't like to make it all gray. I like to have some of the white back in there. So you'll see me wipe off some spots and get it back down to where it's more of a white color rather than the grayish color. Now, if you didn't want to use baby wipes, or maybe you didn't have baby wipes on hand, you could always take the brush, and this little brush right here, the little bitty tiny brush that I have, you can always come back and lightly put some streaks in there. Just like that. Just add some streaks around the main, just feather light on the touch. And just add a few streaks here and there. So that way you've got it to where it looks like streaks in the board. All right, now I've got a few areas that I don't want to be quite so gray, so I'm just working to get a little more of the color off of there. And if you notice all you're doing is pushing the gray around, grab another baby wipe. All right, I'm going to keep that baby wipe handy. Okay, so now we've got the background prepared, and it has that board look to it. And some of it you can see looks like it's pretty worn because there's like holes in it, which is what I like. I like that really weathered look. So we're going to go with that. All right, let me do a quick check. I like to check periodically, just make sure everything looks good on the Facebook screen. I actually have two screens that I work with. I have one screen, which is my camera views, and then I have the second screen, which is Facebook. So I like to check Facebook periodically just to make sure that everything is going well. Before I go too far with this skinny brush, I'm going to get just a little bit of paint on it, and I want to create just a little bit of a ground look right here at the bottom of my tree. I'm going to go back over that with another color that I'm going to be using for the trunk of the tree, but I wanted to get it at least outlined. So what I'm going to start with, and this is where I was going in the very beginning, I'm going to use a few different colors at first. So we're going to have some black, and I've got dark chocolate that I'm going to be kind of mixing with that. And I've got deep burgundy. So those three colors are what I have here first. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my trunk and kind of give the ground a little bit of this color too. So what you're going to see me do is take a little bit of black and a little bit of brown and kind of mix them together. Now I'm not going to get a lot of paint on the brush right off the bat, just to see what my color looks like when I get it on the tree, because this is what I'm going for with the tree. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start just with one of the branches, and I'm just going to bring my paint down. And again, I'm just kind of mixing some colors together, the black and the brown. And to begin with, this is just going to primarily be our help in getting our leaves situated. But as we get closer to the end of getting this one together or finishing up, you're going to see that I'll be using this branch outline to kind of bring the branches back in. I'm just going to take some of this color that I've got, some of the black and the brown, and I'm going to go over where I had put that black earlier for the ground cover or the ground color. So we're creating what's going to be some shadows. as we work our way through our hanger here. All right, so this lower branch, maybe sunlight hitting him, but we're just gonna kind of even him out a little bit, let him look like the rest of them. Okay, now I'm not going to change much as far as my brush goes right now. What I'm going to do is I am going to just begin with these three colors. And what I'm going to be doing is pouncing on and around the branches, just up and down, as if you were using, well, if you've watched me use sponge pouncers when I'm doing polka dots, you'll know I'll put the pouncer down, twist, and then bring it up. Well, this is just going to be quick up and down, but I'm going to be turning the brush. If you see the brush rotating in my hand, I'm going to be turning the brush. The reason why I'm going to do that is so that all the leaves are not in the same direction, okay? So I'm going to start with some black, some brown, and some of the deep burgundy. Now you may be wondering, why in the world are you doing leaves that are that dark? Well, it's not so much that the leaves are going to be that dark. What I'm working on is the shadows in the background behind what will be our fall leaves. And not all of them have to be the same, what's the word I'm looking for? Shade, that's what I'm looking for. As you notice, as I come down, I'm not keeping it all consistent. These here were a little bit darker. And then there's some that are a little lighter out toward the edges. And I'm just pulling in all these colors. And what happens is as I'm pouncing my brush, I'm getting ready to change brushes. I have a bigger brush here that I think is actually going to do a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that one in the water and I'm going to change to this one. This one is a bigger brush. It's wider, but it's also a filbert tip. And I think it will work just a little bit better on making my leaves a little fuller. So we're going to see how that works. So again, I'm just pulling in some black, some brown, and some deep burgundy. And just turning my brush as I go. And you don't have to cover, I'm pulling a little more burgundy in. You don't have to go and cover everything. You can leave some white shining through. This is just to help to create the shadow that's going to be behind our leaves. And I'm starting to pull in a little more burgundy now, so that the deep burgundy, so that it starts to lighten up a little bit. Starting to work more on color, adding a little more color to it, because I'm getting ready to start adding other colors. Now, I'm also going to take these same three colors And I'm just going to do a little bit down here on the bottom. Because what happens in the fall? The leaves fall, right? So we're just going to start with a little shadow look down here. Grab some of the black and the brown. We're going to have a little bit of the shadow look down here as well for our leaves. And you've got the basis for you've got the limbs drawn here. And so basically you're just figuring out what shape you want your tree. Do you want it to be almost as big as the door hanger itself? Or do you want it to have maybe some flow to it, maybe dip in, and however you see your tree, that's what I want you to work on as you're pouncing around, as you're dabbing your brush. All right, from here, I am going to, let's see, what colors do we want to work with next? Let's go with cherry red. So we're going to get a little bit of a brighter red. I'm going to go ahead and put one of our orange. I've got a couple of orange here. I tried to pull out a few different colors, and that way we can do some highlights. And also we can do a little mixing of colors. So I'm not really going to rinse my brush. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to dab off the excess. And then I'm going to get some of the red. And I don't want to load the brush up so that it looks like I'm trying to paint this, okay? What I want to do, I just want to come back in and just start adding in those other colors. So we're just going to begin layering in our fall colors. So I've got red, and I've got a couple of different reds. I've got some orange. I even pulled out a gold color. All right, so now I've got some red in there. Now I'm just going to pick up some orange. And again, I'm not rinsing the brush. And as you begin to add more colors, you'll see that some of the white will begin to fill in. Now, it's up to you if you want to keep closing in the white or if you just want to add the color. Because you may want to find spots where maybe the color's brighter. So maybe, maybe the orange is a little brighter right through here. And again, by turning the brush as you're pouncing around the tree here, I almost feel like Tigger when I say that. Tigger and his bouncing. Turning the brush will make it so that your brush strokes or your brush imprints are not all the same. All right, I am going to pick up, let's see, I had cherry red there. I'm going to put a little bit of crimson, and the crimson I did not shake up. Let's see if it's better now. Oh yeah, not going to add much crimson to the plate, just a little bit. And with something like this, if you notice, I got too much of that color or I didn't get enough of that color, well, it's always easy to add color. But sometimes when you have too much of one color, you think, how am I gonna fix that? A lot of times you can just go back over with one of the other darker colors or a similar color. And even it out. And I'm not worried about covering up the branches because I want some of the branches to show through. Because when you look at a tree, you can see some of the branches shine through the leaves. Another reason too why you don't want to load up your brush is that when you start adding in all the colors, you don't want the colors to mix together. You want them to just layer on top of each other. All right, so our tree is beginning to take shape. Now, I've added a few that are falling, and you can actually do this with a smaller brush. So I'm just going to grab a few little colors here, just randomly. And then maybe come back and grab a touch of burgundy. And just have some of the leaves falling out of the tree. Now, don't forget, one thing I just noticed that I did not do was finish my leaf or add to my leaves at the bottom as I was adding to the leaves in the tree. So you want to make sure you add to those as well. And you can have them pile up or you can have them really thin. One thing you can also do, just like I just changed up a little bit, I'm going to add, just to vary up the color, I took a little bit of my orange and a little bit of my yellow. And this is spiced orange or spiced pumpkin. No, I'm sorry, this is canyon orange. I chose differently. And this is ochre. And so I have kind of mixed those together and it creates a new color that I can come in and just kind of dot around. And then you could take some red, that's some of the cherry red, and mix in with it. Remember, you don't want to come in with a ton of paint. On your brush. But by mixing the colors together, then you get variations in your leaves. This side of the tree looks like it's just shedding like crazy. All right, now you can continue to add different shades and different colors in there. I actually have a little bit of gold here that I'm going to mix in with, whoa, that was way more gold than I wanted. That I'm going to mix in with some of the ochre and just create a little bit of a sheen or a shimmer. Also, yet another color variation. Now, I'm not going to add a ton of this, just a little bit here and there. To create a little bit of a sparkle or a little bit of a shine when the sunlight hits it. Now, I also have a brighter orange, and I did not get it, but another color that might be really cool is that it? Sunshine Yellow. Now, you might be thinking, Sunshine Yellow? Yes. Hold on. Just hang with me here. And if you get to looking and you think, man, there sure is a lot of orange in here. You can always go back and dot the red in. All right, so I'm going to take just a touch of Sunshine Yellow. Now you have to remember that I've got all kinds of different colors in this brush. So even though I've got Sunshine Yellow, it's not Sunshine Yellow at its full strength, okay? And you could even take this and go down one side just like the sun is shining brighter on one side than the other. Even on the little pile at the bottom, you can make it look like the sun is actually shining more on one side of the tree than the other. And then, like I said, if you look around and you think, oh, you know, I just don't have enough red in there. Well, you can always grab your true red, which is your bright, bright red. Which to me would almost be like the fire engine kind of colors. And what I'm doing is I'm going to wipe my brush off with, I'm going to go ahead and put the big one in there because I think I'm pretty much through with it. Everything I'm going to do here is going to be mostly with the smaller one. So I'm just going to take and get a little bit of the red, true red, and just go in and accent just a little here and a little there with the true red, just so it has some of that fiery red pop here and there. Around my fall tree. I had a gnat crawling around on my tree. Undoubtedly, my tree looks well enough to live in because the little gnat was crawling all over it, looking for his home, I guess. Gonna have to find a new home, buddy. I'm sorry. Can't have my tree. right, I'm going to come back and get some of the yellow and just kind of tap down here a little bit. And maybe even a touch of the gold. So this is just really a personal preference as to what you feel is the right amount of color for your fall tree. You may want it really, really bright, in which case I would say um, come in with a lot of the orange, or maybe get the really bright orange and come in with the bright orange, and touch in some of these places where maybe it's still a little too dark for your taste. Or maybe you prefer the darker shades and you want it more of uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Sepia. That's what I'm looking for, kind of tones. And so, keep it on the darker shades. Or you may want somewhere in between, kind of like this one, where it's just a mixture of the different oranges and reds and even some of the brown that's mixed in. All right, well, I'm going to stop with the leaves for the moment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that brush in there. And I'm going to work on our letters because we have Love Grows here. I think this is going to be a good shade for that. And what I'm going to do, I've been debating all day what color to do the words in. I've gone back and forth. I've thought one time that, oh, hey, Miss Cheryl. I just saw you're on there. Oh, thank you. I think it's really cool. I liked this one with the tree. Um, I don't know. I may would have preferred maybe a single line of leaves coming down rather than it look like it's just pouring out of the tree. Poor tree. He's going to be bald before fall is even over with. Let's see. I've gone back and forth between doing black letters, or because I already have the black from the board look, I've also thought about doing crimson or burgundy letters. And so I've gone back and forth on what to do. Um, the nice thing about black is you can cover up pretty much any color with black. I don't know really any color that I've had trouble with black. All right, so I have grabbed the deep burgundy is what I'm using here. You could actually go with a brown color. If you didn't want to use the black, you could use brown and go with it. I'm going to see what the burgundy looks like. I may choose to go over it in black, and it won't be too hard to cover up, so. But since I had black lines and the tree is dark, I thought, you know what, maybe we should do Love Grows here in a different color. So many of the door hangers that I do with black letters. And it's because of, hey, it stands out. The contrast is what you want, especially when it's hanging on your front door. One thing that had me second guessing, or yeah, I guess second guessing the black color is because of the how close the tree and also the board line is for this one. Now, I drew the board lines, okay? So I could have redrawn them and put them in a different location so that it was not so terribly close to the words. Now this will need another coat or possibly two coats to kind of make it darken up. Now all of this was, and I say this meaning the door hanger and the etching, was done with a laser cutting machine. And with it being etched into the wood, it makes it pretty neat because I can just paint right over it and I can still see my words and my lines. Anyone who really likes the rustic type look, I think this is really a cool hanger for that type of decor. I have to check and make sure I'm still in camera. I get sucked into what I'm doing and then I realize, oh, wait a minute, I may be off camera. All right, so I'm going to go over this one more time. And what I'll do is I'll hang it up on a door or prop it up somewhere and on a stand or something, and I'll step back and look at it. And if it doesn't look like the words are bold enough, then I'll end up going over it with black. But I really would like to have a different color. Just so that it does not blend right in with the tree and the board line. And there's not a whole lot of difference between the crimson and the burgundy. There's a little bit of variation. The crimson is just a little bit lighter color. And the only reason I did not go with the crimson is, again, I'm trying to make sure that it does stand out once it's finished. All right, so we're actually almost finished up with this one. It's funny, some door hangers you think would take such a long time, but depending upon the technique that is used, sometimes it does not take as long as you think. It's so funny in doing quilting stuff, sometimes there are shortcuts and things that you can do. Again, it has to do with technique, and you get it done, and it looks like you spent days trying to put it together. And in actuality, it did not take that long. Oh, I do have two more things to do. I just remembered. I need a skinnier brush. Let's see here. Ah, I found my favorite brush. He was hidden amongst some others. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this really skinny brush and I'm going to take some black. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come in and just highlight a little bit on my branches, just a little bit. I'm not going to connect the branches. I'm just going to bring some of the branches to life and let them poke through the leaves. So it's not going to be full branches. It's just going to be some lines that kind of show off, kind of show the branch peeking through the leaves. And again, you could always mix a little brown with this, so there's a little bit of variation to the color. I'm going to put in a little V there so you can see the V actually coming through. But just a little bit of black here and there poking through, just so people know, oh yeah, there's still a tree back there. And I am just lightly touching with my brush. Now, another thing you can do, you can take like some of the orange and come and get a little bit of the brown and create just a little bit of a lighter shade. And come along this side of the tree. You could even do this with some yellow. Pick up a little bit of the yellow and come along this side of the tree so that it looks like the sun is actually shining on that part of the tree and has it lighter. Just a little reflection. And I don't know if it's really showing up that well on the... Ooh, yeah, I got a lot of yellow that time. Let's see if we can pull it down and blend it just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Blend it back into the darker. Just a little bit of, a little hint that the sun is bouncing off that side of the tree. Okay, now, you may remember, or you, I don't know if you noticed or not, there is actually a heart carved in this tree. Well, this is where it gets cute because you could actually put in initials if you wanted to. Now I've got just a little bit of buttermilk here. And what I'm going to do, I did not rinse my brush, so I still have some of that darker color in my brush. So what I'm going to do is I am starting the heart, and you're going to see that buttermilk color stand out at first. But as the buttermilk buttermilk paint gets out of my brush, you're going to see some of the other color come through. And so what I'm wanting to do, of course, you want it to look like they carved into the tree, but you don't want it to be such a different variation that it looks like the tree had some kind of surgery done to it or something. So there's just a little bit lighter heart right there on the tree. And you could actually put initials in that little heart, or you could, I don't know, you could add a little arrow going through the heart. Just whatever your imagination wanted in that little heart on that tree. I think I'm just going to leave it just like it is, and I may even lighten it up a little bit more once that dries and I see how it turns out. But there is our fall tree. Love grows here. And I'm going to let that sit for a little bit, and then I'll come back and look at it and see if I want to add anything else to it. All of our different fall stuff that I've been working on last week, this week, and probably at least another week or two, you can find on our website, and that is at quiltedtreasuresandmore.com. It's all spelled out. Now, most of what you see with my logo and stuff, you'll notice that I use the and sign, but in the website address, it had to be spelled out. So when you're going to the website, you have to actually spell out Quilted Treasures and More. So I know some of you are thinking, could you not have come up with a smaller name? Well, when we started, it was Quilted Treasures, and there was so much quilted stuff, and that was my main focus. But then, as I discovered door hangers and some other things, well, then we had to add the and more because it wasn't just quilted stuff anymore; it was other stuff. So that's how it came to be changed to Quilted Treasures and More. All right, so here is our fall tree. I'm going to pick this up a little bit so you can see some of the colors and the variations. You also see the leaves at the bottom, and of course you can see the little heart there. And I may go over and actually add in maybe a little bit of, I don't know, I may do a little bit more of the yellow with the buttermilk to create a little bit more of a woodsy color for that heart. I may try that. I'm gonna let it dry first. But you can see how I got just a little bit of the branch poking through. And you can always go back and add variations of thickness to those lines. So that way it looks like there's more branch in some area. So it would be more branch this way and then skinnies out rather than just a single pin line going through there. So I may play with it a little bit after we get off here. But I like to kind of step back and look at it and set it up on a stand, or if it's where I can situate it on a door, step back and look at it. But that's our Love Grows Here door hanger. Don't forget to visit us on our website and check out our blog post. Also, you can sign up for our e-newsletter, or you can simply leave your email address in the comments below, and I would be happy to put you in our e-newsletter list. That usually goes out on Sunday nights. Occasionally, it is Monday morning because we have had a few technical difficulties, but I think we have worked out some glitches that we were having, and so we're seeing those go out on Sunday evenings once again, or Sunday nights, because it usually happens after we get through with the what's on my crafting table here. So if you'd like to be included in our newsletter, simply leave your email address below in the comments. And let's see, is there anything else? My daughter's birthday is coming up this week. So happy birthday. She's going to be 13. So, yes, a teenager in the house. Woohoo! So we have a week of celebration going on. So if things are a little quiet on my end, you will know why. But I hope you have a great week, and thanks so much for watching.